Hey you guys, I am back here with another video. I decided to mix it up a little bit since the name of my channel does have the word random in it. Figured I should branch out a little bit from wax. So I'm not really intending to do a whole lot of these, but I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of my succulent collection. And the reason I wanted to is because I didn't know anything about succulents until I moved out here to Southern California. I had heard of them, I never looked at them. They're just not something that grows well in a lot of climates inside a lot of the United States, but out here in Southern California, they just do so well, you know, because they are more arid plants. They do well without water. They like a lot of sunlight, a lot of heat, so they just do really well out here. You can find succulents, obviously, across the country, but in the other climates inside the United States, you know, you may have to bring them in the winter or, you know, protect them from frost. You know, or if it rains too much, that could kill them, things like that. So they just grow really well out here. So I am not a succulent expert. I do not know all the names. So if anyone runs across this video that is, you know, really good with succulents, they're going to be like, that girl has no idea what she's talking about. I've only been collecting these guys for maybe like a year and a half. As with any hobby, as you guys may tell with wax, I just like to jump in head first and kind of figure it out along the way. So I've kind of amassed quite a collection. So here's this one pot here. The main one over here is that Echeveria right there, and look at it when they bloom. You get this ginormous bloom stalk, and look at these gorgeous flowers. Just so unique, and hummingbirds and bees just love them. And they just put a lot of energy into making that. Now I know there are some succulent people who will actually just chop that off when it starts coming out, because a lot of the energy does go into that and not necessarily the plant. You know, but that's just one of the things. I got a lot of little guys in here. Now this one here is like this big red box, and I've got all sorts of things in here, from aeoniums, sedums, echeverias, ruffled echeverias, like that one right there. You got some other ones in here, another ruffled echeveria. That one I think is called Crimson Tide. All of these have like proper Latin names and like really easy to remember, you know, just regular names for the rest of us. So like that one there's an aeonium, the sunburst aeonium. Over here that's a yellow sedum. I think that's a, can't remember, that was Semper Vivum. There's another bloom stalk coming off of there. Let's see, that one is like the, I can't remember if it's the burro's tail or the donkey's tail. But that one there will get like really long and then kind of start cascading down. Let's see here. Oop, and there's a bee. Some interesting looking bloom stalk coming off of that one there. I don't really know what that one is. And a nice aloe there in the corner. So I've also got this collection of pots over here. I've got another echeveria here. I can't remember what that name is, but it's kind of a harder to find one because of the little bumps on it. Can't remember what it's called. Got some bloom stalks coming out of there. Got an agave over there. That one will eventually, I think, end up growing about 2 feet by 2 feet. It's not one of the huge, gigantic ones, but it is going to get pretty big. Over here I've got a collection of aloes. That one, the big one there that doesn't look like it's doing so well, that one is just a regular old aloe vera that somebody gave me, but it just doesn't seem to be doing good. Here I've got a couple more very, very small agaves that'll each grow, not each, I think they're all going to get about 2 feet by 2 feet. I got another agave there. The bloom stalk is kind of dying in that one, but it was really awesome when it was going. And some more echeverias and other things in there. Let's see, that's another agave. That one stays pretty small. This is, oh, look at all that weeds down there. I gotta weed that. This is another one of my favorite agaves. It's just, they're just so cool and so dangerous. Look at the points. Another ruffled echeveria, an aeonium, some more. I'm trying to figure out if I can pull off those little babies. Another one there. And these here, these little pots here of these weird looking guys, those are babies that came off of him when I bought them. They were coming out of the pot, so I planted them to see how they're doing, and they're doing okay. And this big one here is, it's a Euphorbia turcali, also known as fire sticks, and they get really huge. I think they're native to South Africa. You don't see them a whole lot of this size in here, but we did buy it pretty big. It is caustic. All euphorbias are caustic, so you want to keep it away from kids, from dogs. People have actually really damaged their eyes, getting the sap on their fingers and touching their eyes, but that's one of my babies in here. So this is kind of one corner. I've got more I'll show you, but they've got this little group of succulents over here. So a succulent is basically a plant that stores excess water in either its like fleshy leaves or even its root system. So you may not always necessarily see succulents that have like big fat leaves like this, but that's where they store their extra water, and that's why they can go for so long. Now, one other thing about succulents is that they propagate like crazy. They're unlike any other plant where you can take a cutting and you can root it and it'll be fine. You can take a leaf that fell off and it'll sprout roots and it'll be fine. They're very interesting and extremely hardy. One of the things I wanted to show you guys, you may be wondering like, okay, like what is this? So what this actually was a ruffled echeveria, was this plant right here. Now in order to propagate this one, and this was an experiment, this is the first time I've done it, what you actually do is you behead it. So you can see there, like, as this plant starts to age, these leaves here on the bottom will, they'll wither up and fall away and produce new leaves at the top, and what happens is you get the stem that starts growing longer and longer. Well, in order to propagate it, you just behead it. So about a month and a half ago, I cut this thing completely off. I stuck this in a shady spot, and you can see, look at these tiny little roots coming out here. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to plant this baby, and I could probably let this go for longer. Succulents are so, yeah, I mean, that thing hasn't had any water. It's just been sitting here for a month and a half, well, in the shade, and it's for the most part, it's still fine. And I'm keep tending this, and what this is if I'm lucky, I'll get a couple buds coming off of this stem here, and I can pop those off and root them to form new ruffled echeverias. And you can see, like, I've got like a tiny little red thing coming out there, and over here I got also a tiny little red thing. So I'm hoping that that will actually become something else. So that's actually one way to propagate succulents. It's kind of interesting, right? Over here, this is a composition I've been working on. I don't have a really good eye for design with succulents. Some people are really good with it. I kind of just plant them and let them go. So, not the best. There's another one there, another agave there. There's another one there, another pot, and another one of the Euphorbia tubercale, aka fire sticks, in a pot right there. This one is probably one of my favorites here. This is an Aeonium kiwi, and if you may be able to see the bees all over this thing. So all of these things here are flower buds, and you can see some of the flowers died. It produces new ones as it keeps going. This is a really interesting plant, and if you look down there, you may be able to see some rosettes that are kind of green and some that are kind of yellow. So what this plant actually does are the rosettes, once they bloom for a long time. That rosette like there used to be huge, and then as it puts all the energy into the flowers, the flowers get bigger and bigger, the rosette gets smaller and smaller, all the energy stored up in the leaves right there. Sorry, that's the AC. And then eventually that rosette will die. Now, the nice little green rosettes that are down there with no flowers coming out, those will actually live, but probably by the end of the summer, I'm going to have to come out here and hack away at this and remove all of these. So every single rosette that's got a flower coming out of it will die, probably within the next month or two. So another kind of interesting thing about succulents, Aeoniums tend to do that quite a lot, where they bloom and then they die, just the rosette. And agaves would do that. Once they bloom, after they live for 20, 30 years, they bloom an enormous bloom stalk, could be like 10 feet high, and then the entire plant will die. It's just one of the weird things about succulents. So here's another one of my favorites over here. This is an agave Victoria Reginae, I think. These are very small. I've got two of them here. There's a ruffled echeveria there, and then another agave over there. They get really big, and they form these really cute, compact things. If you guys want, Google it, and it's just awesome. And you see like these white things, the white lines that look like they're painted on with like white out or paint. No, that's all natural. That's just the way that this plant looks. I just think that they are so cool. Down here I've got a stacked crassula, and it kind of put it up here, and you can see like it kind of got all nice and long, super long there. Here's another pot I have here with, it looks like some echeverias, and this one here is like a blue chalk. Now this one, that plant had become really unwieldy, so everything you see there was a cutting. I took the major plants and I basically threw away the whole root system of all the plants, cut everything just with scissors, stuck it immediately in the soil, and you can see they're doing fine. I think they're rooting real well, and they're gonna root and form more. Like I said, one thing about succulents, it's easy gardening for people like me that kill things. Over here I've got another ruffled echeveria. Over here I've got another echeveria with, I think that's some sedum coming off of it, and look at all these colors. You would also think of succulents, you think of cactus and just boring colors, and just look at all these colors. This is another Aeonium over here. This one I actually completely beheaded. So this is basically just a stick in the thing. So I don't know if it's rooted yet. Looks like it's having a little bit of trouble, but I'll see how this one does. That one, I love the color in that one too. That really dark purple is such a nice color. I got another pot down here of some other ones, and then over here it's kind of gone crazy. These are just some pots I had got at Home Depot. Everything was kind of mostly already put together. Like, you know, that's a ghost plant over there. I think I've got some, those aren't aeoniums. Oh, I can't remember what they're called. Down here I've got another kiwi. I got some more of those echeverias. And look at these gorgeous tiny little flowers coming off of that purple one back there. And you can see there's more of them over here. It looks like it belongs under the sea. It like coral. It's for the spider webs. It happens with succulents, right? They don't move very much. This is another one I have over here. I think that's like a Pearl von Nuremberg, and you can see it's got the little flowers coming off of it as well. That's a paddle plant. These will actually change color a little bit depending on how stressed they are, how much water you give it, how much sun. I like it when it has a little bit of red. Another one down there. That's like the key lime succulent that I can't remember the actual name. Oh, and this one here is, you can see, I think this is, like I said, once again, there's one called Squirrel's Tail and one called Donkey's Tail. But you can see how it's starting to cascade down. That's what that succulent does. Kind of just cascades like that. Here I got another echeveria. And I think I got some blooms coming, yeah. See that tiny little thing? That'll be a bloom stalk. You know, just like that, coming up real big. I got an aloe there. The blooms on this bloom stalk died, but it still got the big plant there. This one is called like a golem, I think. I got some crassula down here, and then a couple more things over there. Looks like a couple of sedum. And over here, along with my cat who wants to come outside. Hey, Escher! Escher! Oh, look at that silent meow. Poor guy. Okay, these pots here are just the ones that I put my cuttings in. So anything that I get that, you know, falls off, or I don't really have a place for it, or I don't know what to do with it, I kind of just stick it in here. So some of these may work, some of these may not work. That one looks like it's not working. Oh, look at this one here. So this is a leaf that fell off of one, and this is what I'm talking about with propagation. Oh, sorry, camera. Maybe I need to do this. See, so this is just a leaf, and you see that's a tiny new plant coming out, and those are little roots already coming out. So if I leave this on top of the soil, it'll form a brand new plant based off of that leaf. Isn't that just the coolest thing? I got some of these over here. Some of these just didn't have a home, so I just kind of stuck them in here. I'll have to figure out what to do with them. These here are like, this one all came off of like this big plant here. It used to be big, and now I think it's just got these little babies, so I'm trying to root these babies on their own, seeing how that goes. Over here are probably my two favorites, and they're not doing so well. I've been struggling with them. Now these are succulents, but they are not easy to grow in Southern California. They're an alpine plant. They actually prefer consistently somewhat moist soil and cool climates. Pretty much if their root systems get above like 80 degrees, they will die. So they haven't been doing so well. So what this is this is an aloe polyphylla, also known as the spiro aloe. You guys can Google that one to see a full-grown plant. They are amazing. They're kind of one of the hardest plants to get. These little babies, when they were babies, tiny babies, cost me like 40 bucks a piece when I bought them. And you can see here, it has started to spiral a little bit. But I've been having problems here. I think I had overwatered it. I think I managed to save it. I had repotted it in this. But it's struggling a little bit, but it ain't dead yet. So I'm working on it. Over here is its brother. Once again, you can see I'm having some issues, but the plant overall still seems firm and somewhat healthy. And that's another one. You can start to barely see the spiral out of that one too. Yeah, but anyway, these are the two aloe polyphyllas that I have. So this is like a strawberry pot that I have here out here in the front. And I wanted to show you guys another thing. This plant here is probably one of my most prolific producers of baby plants. So you see this little guy here? I can probably just pull him off and he will form his own plant. Right there. So I know you guys are some maybe like, like what are you doing? But trust me, it's fine. Because you know what? I did it with that. I did it with one in the back. And that's what this plant does. It just produces these babies. I got all these roots with it. And I'll put that on the ground over here. I'll deal with that later. And I'll probably let that be for about a week. Let it like scab over a little bit. And let it go. But this one just loves producing babies. And if you look down here, you may not be able to see it on the camera. But there's two more babies coming out there. So yeah, that one grew off of that, and that's how I propagate it right there. Propagated. I gotta plant it and stuff. But I got some more here. I got these here, and This is the one interesting thing about succulents, how sometimes they get gangly, because this one started down here. So to produce leaves, and it'll use the bottom leaves as it goes to make new leaves, and you get this ever lengthening stem. Now what I can do today is just cut it there and then just replant it. And basically start it all over from cuttings. Like, who cares about the root system? Just cut it, plant it. Good to go. It's got some flowers coming off there. I got a zebra plant. I got some more of this burro's tail or the donkey's tail. And I got another one back there, Haworthia. That's a variegated one. It doesn't have as much chlorophyll. Trying to keep it a little bit more in the shade. And another one down there. This is another pot I got. It just has a couple like echeverias coming out there, one's blooming. I wanted to show this too because I think some people have asked to see the koi pond. So this is the koi pond. So it's it's obviously an above ground pond, not in ground. Got 3 koi in there. Cornell. Wait, no. Cornell. Okay, that one's creamsicle and tang. Creamsicle, tang, and Cornell. And there's the hubby. We're doing some cleaning. So that thing normally goes a little bit more than that. We have to clean the filter. But we have a little bit of mechanical filtration. We've got a biological filtration canister in the back. And these 3 guys and some goldfish in here that we're probably going to have to get rid of. So this is what it is. And if you guys are wondering what this is on the top, the previous owners of this house, these koi were here when we got here. And they had said initially they had actually seen a bird come down and took one of their koi and went away with it. So we figured, yeah, sure, it doesn't look great, it looks a little ugly, but we'd rather keep the fish safe, you know. And we actually have lost one. There used to be 4. We did lose one at one time, but these 3 have been with us for the 2 to 2.5 years we've been at this house. So this is the little koi pond, and I've always wanted one, so it was just serendipitous that this house came with one. So, hey fellas, you guys are hungry. So I got the koi and the koi all around here. This is another one that I did, another composition, I guess as the succulent people would call it. Just another echeveria and some sedum and everything else coming out of there. Out of this little frog. Kind of cute, huh? So here's an example of a composition that's gotten completely out of control. You see how much stem you see out of those sedums? I need to just go through and rip everything out and replant it and take cuttings and get rid of all the roots because it is just ugly. Sorry, Miss Snail. You're a little bit ugly right now. And then over here is the last one of the succulents that I have. This one is I think some echeverias and then a couple aloes. And I just love the colors on these. And this one here is just in this little cat planter I got from Pier 1. But anyways, you guys, that's it. That's a quick little tour of the succulent garden for those of you that are not familiar with succulents. Hey, I hope this was kind of interesting to you because, gosh knows, when I found out about the world of succulents, I just was amazed at the different colors, the different textures, the different plants. There was so much out there I had never known existed. It was absolutely insane. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.